Yes, we played in Virginia on
Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played there Saturday, and we played Virginia, Wisconsin this week too.
Oh, nice. Okay. How was Virginia Beach?
It was fun, it was
Nice.
nice.
First time out there?
I've been there, but with the team, it was like our first big trip.
Gotcha. How was the weather?
It was like how it is today. It wasn't like too hot, but it was good enough.
Nice. How's the family business?
Good. I just opened up Orland Park actually. They want to
Nice.
start
Yeah, I got a place in Orland Park. So I gotta go, but what's the name?
Cargo Coffee. Cargo Coffee.
Cargo. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, because there's really nice coffee houses out there already, so I'm interested to see. I'll stop by. It's open now?
Yeah, yeah. I think right now we're doing 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Any of your family members working there?
Not right now.
Yeah,
We hired out. We already had some people.
Alright, I'm gonna go out and let you know what I think.
Sounds
Might even take a little video to like show. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Alright, excellent. Diego went to Orlando, everybody know that. Joseph, what did you do?
I went to U of I, and I spent the weekend there, but the entire week I was just working. Besides that,
That's nice.
it was my birthday on Saturday, so I was celebrating
Happy belated.
and,
Yeah. Did you have fun? Did you party?
oh yeah, the whole week.
Luciana, how about you? What did you do?
I went to Thailand with the summer.
Open break.
Yeah.
Nice. Where'd you go? Bangkok or somewhere else?
Yeah, we went to Chiang Mai and Bangkok and Pattaya.
Nice. What overall thoughts? What's your thoughts?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was
Did you
fun.
go back?
Yes, I want to go back for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so today we'll talk about product protocol, what that's all about, we'll define it, look at all these different kind of aspects of it. I also have a group assignment today that we can work on, and hopefully have something to present towards the end of the class. And we'll just move along from there. So then what phase are we in right now, right? So we say, hey, we're slightly past midway of the course. We started out talking with opportunity identification and selection, that was part one, right? So then we talked about concept generation, generating ideas and concepts, and how we evaluate all those ideas and concepts. That was part two. So we are in midway of this whole concept project evaluation, right? So that's part three, right? Next, in the final two stages are development. What do we do at the developmental stage, right? What takes place? And then finally, we'll talk about launching the product, right? Close to the semester. All right, so quickly, we say, hey, you know what, for concept project evaluation, we gotta assess each concept. We get a statement for technical and commercial feasibility, something written that would say, hey, this is actually doable from a technical standpoint, the research and development, actually take these ideas and make them worthwhile. And then from there, we got a concept test for customers. So we're like, hey, you know what? Maybe we just have a board of some kind that customers can look at and we can chart things and map things about the product, right? Or we could maybe do a prototype, it's not completely finished, right? They're like, okay, it's a good enough representation of what it is we're trying to do without actually doing anything. We see this all the time with concept cars, right? Like, wow, look at this, we could do all, look at all these things. Then you get inside, right, we can't really do anything yet, right? We just have ideas of what we want to do, but technically speaking, we can't do them just yet. Until we know that it's gonna be feasible, marketable, and profitable at some point. So that's the early screening process. From there, we got technical assessment of the latest version of the concept. Right, so after we got our feedback from customers, we'll go back to the drawing board and create a new version, right? A more updated version with more realistic kind of features. And then in our late screening, we could do a full screen using the scoring model. Right, and the scoring model, we're like, all right, we want to rank things in order. We also want to say, hey, maybe a Likert scale, what's likely, unlikely, right? 1 through 5, A through E, something of the sort. Right, limit the score to someone. A 5 for this aspect or feature, a 4 for this, a 3 for this, 2 for this, or 1. And then we put our complete project, if this approved, right, at the final kind of screen, we say, hey, we got a concept statement, a written protocol, top management support, right, the CEOs, the C-level executives support the product. That product innovation charter, it could be revised if we need to. We get pro forma financials. Remember, pro forma means future or predictable financial statements, projected financial statements, right? Kind of showing what we hope to budget and hopefully what we hope to get guided revenues. We have our team selected, and our team could be individuals from a multitude of departments, someone from finance, accounting, marketing, research and development, right? All these sorts of things, and even we're into manufacturing it ourselves, people from manufacturing as well, right? Along with that is the budget and the tentative development plan. So, product protocol. Right? We're like, hey, there's some things we want to have first. Right? Marketing needs to speak to research and development. These are the two major departments, I would say, that need to communicate well. First, marketing is going to assess the price at which we place the product as. Marketing is going to say, hey, how do we promote this product on all the different various channels that we can think of? What are the type of customers in terms of our segmentation? How do we plan to position this product? Do we position as a quality product, as an affordable product, as a safe product, as a utilitarian product? What is the positioning? Right? And research and development has to get back to marketing and say, well, I don't know if we can do that with that budget. Right? This is what it's going to cost to do this thing. This is what it's going to cost to add that extra feature that you think customers like or desire. This is the limitation of what we can do here. So here's just kind of a mock conversation between marketing departments and research and development. All right, so marketing, we're going to be needing a solar powered version of our standard garage door opener soon. Right? So marketing says, hey, we have a standard garage door opener already out there on the market. It appears to be relatively successful. Unfortunately, our competitors have already started moving towards solar power, right? Because customers have maybe say, hey, that's a problem, right? We'd like to eliminate those problems. Right? We want to make it easier for our customers, and it's just the competition is driving that slow. R&D comes back and say, hey, how reliable should it be? Reliable enough, right? Maybe, right? Should it be controllable from inside the house? Good question. Right? The marketing can think of that. Right? Marketing think like, hey, all right, so customers desire a solar power garage door opener, but did we consider whether it should be controllable from inside the house? Should it be extremely reliable or just reliable enough? Should we use new electronics technology? Or should we use things that are already kind of standard? Right? Because if it's new, you're like, all right, we can use that in a promotion, right? If it's new, we can help that kind of to anchor promotion. Should it separate from the collector system already installed, right? Should it maybe be a redundancy, like a backup to what's already there? Or should what's already there be eliminated completely and installed as a new kind of version? Those are kind of very technical questions to know. All right, marketing comes back and says, hey, well, you're the technical people, make some recommendations. So marketing is starting to kind of come back, right, or have a debate. The research and development team, the technical team, right? So research and development comes back kind of with a little snippy quip here, right? Hey, in other words, you don't know what you want, right? So the R&D people are like, hey, marketing, not really thinking in a way that's making sense. Right? They're not doing their job correctly. And that's what R&D do. Because they say, hey, you should know what customers want. You should know you're coming up with these fancy schmancy ideas, and people start to talk crap about the people in the other department, right? Because they're like, hey, research and development, what are they even do? Right? Like, we gotta tell them everything, if I gotta dictate everything to you, what are you really getting paid for? And the R&D people says the same about marketing, right? They're like, hey, marketing is full of wonderful ideas, but they don't actually even get to the nitty gritty, they don't get to the point, right? They don't actually know how to delineate their ideas. Maybe they're too creative and not really logical. The R&D people are logical, right? They're engineers and things like that, so highly logical, highly functional people. Maybe they're thinking marketing people are just too creative, right? Too creative, with a little bit of logic. R&D, if we go electronic, you'll say it's too expensive, right? If we go electric, you'll say we're living in the 1930s. Wherever we put the collectors, you will say we are wrong. If we guess, you second guess. But once again, we're having this debate back and forth, this little diatribe. Now market, okay, put the collectors on the garage roof, R&D, that probably can't be done. So they're going back and forth. Right, so it goes to show you, like, even once the idea is conceived, and you're starting to evaluate the concept, that there's still miscommunication happening within the company, right? And those are issues too, whether a product gets pushed forward or delayed, just because of miscommunication between department leaders and team leaders. Okay, one solution, Toyota's Ubea room. So Toyota says, hey, you know what? Here's an idea. Within our company, within our organization, let's have a room set like this, right? Where we can see visuals. So when there's any changes, people can visually see the changes, whether it be marketing changes, creative concepts or budgets, technical things that could be displayed. Get a whole bunch of team members within the organization that come around and have a good visual as well as kind of open communication. So they have a big room to accommodate all team members for a new product project. Right? So they have a giant room and they say, hey, we have a new idea for a product. We want to have a space where people can come in and pitch ideas, but still have visual representations, right? And so it appears to be something that works very well for Toyota. Right? So it's called Ubea. So they have prototypes, models, mock-ups, and drawings in the center of the room. All around the room are boards to guide discussion, such as objectives. So you can have different boards that just focus on bullet points, objectives. You have a board that has, graphs and things like that, talk about metrics. Things with actionable things, decomposition sub-projects, right? Like, hey, there's a major project, but maybe there's a sub-project coming along after this. And then critical problems and issues, right? Like, hey, what can work? What can't work, right? All these different things that you have visually, just out there, as opposed to just shooting emails back and forth, right? Having these little meetings going on as well, too. Right, so remember, nothing is better than in-person communication. In-person communication will always be the greatest form of communication. Because even if you're having Zoom within an organization, something is still lost. Sometimes it's delayed on sharing things on the screen, right? It can be technical problems happening with audio, things of that nature. But you also can't pick up body language and gestures that well, too. Kind of virtual video conferencing. Right? So in person is good. So this is what Ubea room is all about. There's a team leader, sets targets and controls the meeting, right? So someone to kind of orchestrate and organize the meeting. Team members all make short presentations, under 3 minutes. So in reality, it's kind of like a classroom setting with lectures and presentations, right? Or some sort of little TED talk for the most part. Right? It gives people time to give their 3-minute spiel. Right? 3 minutes. So the attention spans are short. No time for loafing. Total meeting time is under 1 hour, which is great. Right? Anything above an hour, people are tired, they're drained, they've already lost focus, they've lost track. So you're like, hey, everyone is 1 hour, good enough. 3-minute presentations from all these different groups, sounds pretty good, right? Consistent and it's organized. So why do we have a protocol? Well, we're also known as product requirements, product definition, or deliverables. Right? I mean, obvious, it's obvious, it's simple, but why do we need to know what we're talking about? Actually, it's one of the top success factors distinguishing winning from losing projects, maybe because it involves more than technical aspects. Right? So you're like, hey, you do kind of have to have some sort of written documentation showing the process, definition, requirements for the product. It just really puts things in place to differentiate whether it'll be success or failure. Because people need input. So the purposes of a product protocol to determine what marketing and R&D groups need to do for their work. Right? So we can think here of a concept life cycle, more than a simple concept statement, yet less than what we will have when the first prototype is available. Here we want to identify key deliverables. Key deliverables are things that have to be done in a certain specific time frame, that have to be implemented or delivered at some point, right? Also, too, we want to communicate essential to all the players, integrate their actions, direct their outcomes, setting boundaries on the development process, permit development process to be managed, right? Hey, what needs to be done? When does it need to be done? Why does it need to be done? How? Who is doing it? All of these different pertinent questions in order to proceed. So here's the context, which actually we'll be working on within our groups, right? First thing, our product protocol. We're like, hey, who's the target market? Important to know. Not everybody is a customer, right? So even when you come out with your new product, you want to know exactly who you're going to be targeting. What age group, what income level, and you give them personalities, what are their tastes and preferences, all these sorts of things. Product position, where you position yourself within the market. Once again, are you a low-cost leader? Are you high quality, high functional? Right? All these sorts of aspects of positioning the product. And what are the product attributes, the benefits? Right? What actually does a customer benefit from this product? What differentiates it really from other competitors? Competitive comparison, part of differentiation. Augmentation dimensions. Are there variability within this product? Right? Can it be manipulated in some way? Are there different versions of the product? The timing. When do you hope to release this product or launch? Then the marketing requirements. How much of a budget is needed to promote it effectively so that you have some sort of profit coming back? Right? Financial requirements, production requirements, who's going to be producing it? Are we producing it? Or a third party producing it? Can they produce it? Regulatory requirements, all the legal things, ethical things in the way. Corporate strategy requirements, right? What does it entail for us as a business in order to get this done? And then potholes, just kind of thinking at the end like, hey, what could go wrong? Right? What are the obstacles that can go wrong with this product? All right, anyone's ever heard of Happy Fork? Happy Fork? It's kind of a digital fork. So imagine a digital fork that can read things that you're eating and give you kind of like daily reminders on calorie intake and food portions and things like that. All right, so let's say Happy Fork, right? They're like, hey, I want lists for Happy Fork. Things that we need to consider if we're going to promote the Happy Fork, right? Things that we need to consider. Hey, are we going to use the same shape and weight as a regular fork? If you think that's important, if you're a creative We say eating too fast can lead to indigestion, right? So we can also give information like, hey, you eat too fast, and now you want to go ahead and have stomach problems because you have indigestion, because you literally just consuming the food too fast. Like that would be critical success for this product. It needs to be washable and dishwasher safe. Like, all right, we gotta worry about seals and gaskets to protect the electronic hardware inside, right? So it has to meet some sort of IP rating or something like that, right? In order for it to be submersible or it needs to be resistant, but not fragile. Right? Can't be fragile, but it needs to be somewhat resistant. Needs to come in a wide variety of colors to match any decor. Like, hey, people want it to look good, so it needs to come in different colors. Is that doable? Right? Because people want it to match other things in their kitchen or their other utensils. Can it connect via Bluetooth or USB to other devices to record and track products? Like, all right, well, maybe is it just a device that has the reading and that's it? Can they connect it via Bluetooth to an app, right, to give more kind of clear readings on a screen of some sort? You gotta connect it with a cord, a USB cord. Right? How do you want to do this? Right? It needs to be easy to use. Can't be too complicated. It comes with information on diet and exercise. It's important to give these reminders so that people want to keep using this thing. If not, they'll quickly forget about it. So the reminders is just giving information about dieting and exercising. And consider that these are stated as benefits and that some of these might conflict. Right? So we kind of have to express the benefits of these. Here's another example of protocol for a trash disposal system. Right? Like, hey, must automate trash disposal at a factory cost not to exceed $800. That's kind of expensive. Right? It needs to be clean, ventilated, odor-free, no chance of combustion. Right? We don't want things catching on fire. It doesn't need to be a safety hazard. It needs to be clean. It needs to be able to be ventilated. It doesn't emanate an odor. Must be safe enough to be operated by children. Right? Children are going to throw out trash too. Outside store safeguards against children and animals. Have to worry about the raccoons, the squirrels. Right? That needs to be considered in the protocol. Size. It must be small enough to work as kitchen appliance to provide easy access and limit need for double handling of trash. Right? So it needs to be small enough to have easy access. Also large enough, you know, so you don't have to keep reloading this thing or offloading the device. It needs to have simple installation, decor adaptable to different user tastes. All right, so we gotta get different colors for this trash disposal system. The design requires opening of exterior walls or structural integrity, insulation against elements must be maintained. Right, so it needs to be well insulated against things that are outside. It's gonna be outside, worry about the rain, the sleet, the snow, the wind, et cetera, et cetera. So it needs to be well insulated so that those things can't get inside and erode the structural integrity. All right, user-friendly, automatic operation, easy to maintain by technical service people, right? Want to be automatic because that's a convenience factor that people are willing to pay for, but it also needs to be accessible by a service technician in a very easy way. Right? So, our positioning with the protocol, product protocol, we said we have joint space mapping and other concept testing activities have identified desirable positioning options. Right, when we said positioning, there's all those elements to the customer, how they feel about it, about our product. Concept test ensures that customers will be interested in our positioning claim. You're making the claim about a product, its quality, affordability, right? But you also gotta make sure the customers actually feel product protocol stated as customer benefits, right? This built-in wide product concept, right? You say, hey, this one is a carrier for 2 wine bottles, right? Like, all right, we got a carrier that holds 2 bottles of wine. What are our claims about this, right? And how the customers flow that. Well, we're saying customer benefits is protective, insulated, it's ergonomic, lightweight, reusable, inexpensive, flexible, easy to fold. Right? What's the result of that? Well, we made neoprene wide bottle carriers. It has to fold, so we chose to use neoprene. Neoprene is also insulating. Neoprene is ergonomic, right? It's protective. Neoprene is lightweight and reusable. Pretty inexpensive. So it's sleek. So maybe a neoprene kind of sleeve-like design. And it's easy to cut and dye into designer colors. You're like, all right, neoprene is great. We can soak it in dye, let it dry. Bam, we got all sorts of different color designs for people's different preferences for aesthetics. And then we have spin-offs, right? Like, hey, what else could we create as a spin-off from this carrier device, right? Beer carriers and baby bottle carriers, right? Now into the bottle, now into the carrier industry. And maybe even to go further beyond that, to go away from drinks to other items that we carry. Maybe it could be grocery bags in the future, right? Maybe we could get into golf bags, carry a golf bag, or carry any kind of sporting equipment as well too. So like, man, the spin-offs could be kind of endless possibilities just from this product concept. All right, some other considerations. Timing. A major technology breakthrough will take longer. Like, time is important, because by the time you came out with your product, guess what? It took too long. Customers are already going to something else. Like, that's an old thing to them. So now you really wasted your money, your time, your effort, because it took too long. The timing has to be right. It kind of has to be pre-planned, maybe a few quarters out, right? Like, you start a design concept, a product concept at the beginning of the year, but you're gonna roll it out at the end of the year. And you need a lot of time. Financials. The protocol should include profits, net present value, et cetera, et cetera. So from a financial standpoint, like, hey, what do we expect to profit from this, right? What do we expect to gross? What do we expect to net, right? And all the different aspects of finance. And then production. Who are we going to get to build it? Are we building it ourselves? The values. How many units do we need to produce? And what quality needs to be achieved? And then also, when we say, hey, when we're getting the feedback from our customers, whether it is focus groups, right, concept testing, product testing, right, we want that voice of the customer to kind of resonate, because we really don't know what they want. We could just be speculating. So we really have to get concise information, detailed information, like how people are really thinking about this category of products. Right? So this voice of the customer is extremely important. It's a complete set of customer wants and needs, expressed in the customer's own language. Maybe we're recording the customer in a focus group and we go back and listen to each different little nuance, things they talk about, what they want. And prioritize importance and performance. Right? No scientific jargon. You just say in layman's terms, what's the most important things to customers about these product category or the product itself? What's least important to them, right? We go back and use that information to revise so that we can maximize our potential with this. So here's the way we gather the voice of the customer. 20 or 30, 45-minute interviews produce 90 to 100% of customer needs, right? Audio recording and transcription. Transcription is really easy to just filter out words. Okay? What are the most keywords that keep popping up all the time in customers' conversations? Right? What words do we kind of delineate challenging things this new phone would come back? What is the obstacles, what you did not like about it? Right? What do you like about it and dislike? What was your worst experience? Remember, sometimes we don't always want to think about one of the things. We want to beat our competitors out by focusing on things that are problems to customers, the cons, right? And improve the cons, eliminate the cons as much as possible. And then lastly, before we do our little group assignment here, hey, what did Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, had to quote on the voice of the customer? He says it's really hard to design products by focus groups. A lot of times people don't know what they want until you show it to them. And you can't just ask customers what they want and then try to give that to them. By the time you get it built, they'll want something new. Right? So does this mean that we should forget about the voice of the customer? And you're like, no. The voice of the customer just needs to have more planning involved. Bless you. The voice of the customer just needs to have more planning involved. We can meet the mark, maybe the timing is the issue. So here, Steve Jobs appears to be talking about a reference to timing. Timing has to be right. That's why Apple kind of already has that system in place where they do that keynote every September, right? Comes back around where they're gonna deliver all their new devices. You particularly usually the new iPhone, and then maybe towards the spring they'll integrate new accessories of the products, right? Extendable products besides MacBooks and iPhones and iPads. All right, excellent. So here for today's assignment. Let's take a look here. Okay, so for today, we'll be working in our groups, or a group. I know Matthew's not here, so maybe you and Luciana can work as a group. Okay, so today, what we're just kind of doing. All right, we're going to do a product protocol builder here, right? We say, hey, your team is launching a hypothetical new product. Come up with any product of your own choosing, your own choice. But develop a full product protocol, including some of the things you just named. Target market, right? Who exactly is your target market? Age groups, income, et cetera. What's the value proposition that we have to this target market? What are you proposing to them? In some terms of value, what value are you giving to them? The product features and the competitive advantage. So a little bit of research on what the competition would be for that product and how your product is going to create an advantage. All right, and then second, identify the core customer problem the product solves. Exactly what's the problem that people have that they need this product, right? What's the problem that make people want to have this product, right? And maybe kind of dive deep into that problem. Like, why do they have that problem? Right? What goes along with those problems? All right, here we're saying just write a one-sentence positioning statement for the product. It could be longer than one sentence. I'm not going to limit you. Remember we said positioning, low-cost leader, high quality, luxury, utilitarian, this does what it's supposed to do, technical, digital, something of the sort, right? Try to express it in your own words. And then lastly, answer this question, actually two questions. Why is it important to create a product protocol before development begins? What risks occur if teams skip this step? And think about it, try to answer these questions in light of your own product, right?
Yeah. Sounds good.
I think that's. Yeah, food.
Do you remember the things he had listed to write about?
I think it was just like the product and then the market ad.
Maybe if you could just describe the product.
Questions one way?
How, what were the other things that we had to write about?
I'll pull it back. I was telling other classes I have, I got a bearded dragon and a cat too. Anyone ever own a bearded dragon?
Lizards.
They're really friendly. I was telling too, I'll see if I can sneak the bearded dragon into class one day. So you can take a look. I got a few like little dry crickets, mealworms, but they eat a lot of vegetables too, like 80% vegetables, like 20% protein based things. But we really don't have to do much work at all, because I'm like, they don't really create a mess. Like even their urine is like powder, so it's really not even a smell. It looks like sand. And so like the cage, well, the aquarium is like sand at the bottom, so you really can't even tell when it goes to the bathroom. And it doesn't smell at all. So a great pet to have is like low maintenance.
There we go. Good.
So what are the other locations for the coffee spots? What other locations do you have?
We have two in Bolingbrook, and one in Arlington Heights is what's open, one in Elgin, one in St. Charles. So all of them are just open. And then we just got permits okayed on a spot in Downers Grove, but that'll be a while.
Oh.
The city's very, they're making a pretty big thing from it, so big on.
That'll kind of cover like the Old Brook kind of area, right?
Yeah.
Close to like Old Brook.
Downers Grove, between there and Bolingbrook, we kind of fairly split, but we get like the big suburbs.
Yeah. Yeah. So Arlington Heights is really Schaumburg area.
Yeah.
The cat dog man. Like, oh, I guys came out like Naperville or Aurora.
We looked at Aurora and Naperville, but the rent is just like crazy now.
Really?
Yeah. Especially down on, we did like on 59 Schwartz, heading Schwartz 88, that weird Aurora, Batavia spot. It's just
Why
like,
is Harvey so much like that?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Like downtown Naperville, we do think really expensive, kind of just stay weird, but even like those outskirts of Naperville, it's like double whatever we were paying at Orland Park. Which is like, we didn't think it was worth it, especially
Yeah.
when we're not developing on it.
in like the, what's it called, the tourist business, like he works for a hotel.
Oh, okay. What about you, Diego? You family business?
No, unfortunately, no.
Here, growing up, my dad, owned, you know, let's say kind of like a front company or whatever. I think my dad was in the mob, not a mob. But, he owned a moving company and a storage company. And, extremely difficult business to make a profit. You think of the time, right, like how long it takes to move something, number of people. And then with storage too, like unless you own giant facilities that we kind of see all around public storage and stuff like that, just having one big warehouse. So I kind of felt like the business was never really, you know, we always kind of recommend like, hey, like, do a different business or something like that. Or scale the business, like actually go purchase large scale, storage facilities, right? But he was kind of old school and never really listened, so eventually like, you know, had to shut everything down. But he still kept the stuff because he also collected things, so half of like warehouse that we had was like guns, collectibles, antiques, and all his personal stuff. And the other half would be like other stuff, but it was never really a profitable business. Good for us kids, because we was paying some cash, so even as a 12-year-old, you know, we would make ridiculous money in cash, right? So I probably had the most money anybody knew, 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age. But as a business, it was never successful. Hence why you don't really see a ton of successful moving companies. They come and go, right? It's just random. You gotta go and yelp and look, but you never really see like a nationwide or statewide moving company, because it's just a very difficult business to do. Remember, a hard job. Nobody wants to move for a check, right? If they do, you know, people are hurting knees and backs and they don't come to work. So it's a high, kind of injury prone work too. Hence why I kind of like immediately, I hated physical labor. I just thought it was like the worst. But I was moving pianos and refrigerators and stoves when I was like 12, 13, and 14. So I got my experience of like, because in those jobs, what they say is you get income at the beginning and then you give it all back to the healthcare industry because your knees, your back, your pain, you just give it all back later in life. Right? So I never liked that idea. Anyone done? One complete? One app is presented on Wednesday, so let's try to get as much done so you don't have to do it outside of class if you don't want to. We got another 9 minutes we'll go for. See how we're ready. Like I said, try to make it to like a PowerPoint presentation, just put your answers or maybe a visual, two visuals along with that. Anyone have any blurbs to share too? All right, maybe try to take this up for Wednesday as well too. Our guest speaker, still trying to get him in, is having a schedule conflict. His name is Rob. Hopefully we can get him in over the next couple of weeks. what is it in your estimation like?
Well, like, for like on the sports industry, it's like, it takes a lot of like moving back to, so like, kind of like broken this waiting for like a response, like, I had a couple, like, the Bears, and it takes like forever for them to get back.
I can see that.
That's just like usually how it is for
Yeah.
every year, it's like, you don't.
Yeah, that's high grade, it's a professional. And that's what you're aiming for? Something professional or collegiate?
Yeah, something like that, or it's like, I even went to like the hospitality area, so I was like interviewing for Levi. And I guess like the second part is what they.
So you got a system in place?
Yeah.
How about the rest of you? Well, you just working with the family, right?
That's the better one. I don't really want to take over.
You don't want to? Are you still job hunting or not?
Yeah, I got a couple of weeks on that. That's really working.
How's it promising?
I've been looking for internships for the summer, and too much,
You got a backup plan, like, hey, maybe not internships, or maybe just a full-time job?
I need it, that's, required to graduate, so,
Okay. Wait, what's your name?
communication.
Joseph, how's yours?
I'm just waiting, apparently like in April, they start, like, getting back to the candidates and stuff for like interview.
What are you applying for?
Huh?
What are you applying for?
I'm applying for, both internships and regular job.
Marketing stuff or something like that?
I'm an accounting major, so I haven't really applied to marketing.
Okay. You gonna do the CPA?
Yeah, I'm looking for, jobs that give opportunities to, for tuition reimbursement, so I'm coming.
In the meantime, are you doing people's taxes, friends, families?
I do my own, like with my aunt, she has her own tax business, so.
Okay. Yeah, you make a lot of money on people's taxes.
Yeah.
Just saving them, a couple $100, people love that. How about you, Diego, have some job?
It's going good, just applying for some jobs, not much on that end, but we'll see where that goes.
You got a plan, system?
Yeah, looking at a lot more,
Backups.
looking at a lot more marketing jobs, in state and out of state, so we'll see. But also looking at some part-time jobs as well, maybe during the summer, maybe another internship.
Oh, okay. Yes, yeah.
Well, I still have a semester left. I'm graduating early, so I just gotta look at like master programs,
What's your major?
psychology.
Oh, okay, you want to say that. Okay. What are you trying to do with that? Your therapist?
Well, ideally, like, I wanna end up like, obviously like being a therapist, but I wanna get into like somatic therapy.
Okay.
But I think I need a master's in like counseling first before getting into that.
Nice. Are you all restricted to geography? Like, are you also applying to things outside of the Chicago area or outside of the state of Illinois? Or you're like, I wanna stay here?
Well, when I apply to jobs, I check to see if they're here. But most of the time when you, do an application, it asks if you're open to relocation or what's with that.
Let me tell you something which is kind of like a hack for applying. So, if I were like an undergrad student gonna graduate, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay here, I wanna be by my family, and blah, blah, blah. I would apply for jobs in either the East Coast, like New York, or the Bay Area. They will pay 3 times or 4 or 5 times the amount of money that a Chicago or Illinois or Midwest place will pay. It's a higher Francisco, Bay Area, or LA, or living in New York City. No, just, different pay scales. So I would say, keep that in mind, like, searching for jobs in high pay areas, maybe at least if it's virtual. But if you're open to relocating to those areas, I mean, that's good too, right? Keep that in mind. And don't limit too to the US, because once again, like, all right, you find you a remote job somewhere in Europe, a remote job in the UK especially, right? You think of the UK as some of the most expensive places, right, that they pay a lot of money. So, another thing too, another hack, right? Consulting. Right? Consulting is like, you don't wanna do all this process of licensing and all this rigmarole of things. You can always say you provide counseling or consulting to people, organizations, blah, 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 marketing departments, sports agencies, blah, 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 independent consultant, right? You say, I don't wanna be an employer, but I'll take your contract and work on behalf of you, and I get paid per contract. Right, you kind of work that way too. Alright, so kind of just use this degree to think of all the alternative ways you could think about approaching your job problem that's gonna be coming up, whether it's this now or in the future. Like, sometimes you're like, oh man,